New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is headed to New Hampshire this weekend as she weighs a potential presidential bid. After this weekend, Gillibrand will be one of at least 8 2020 hopefuls to visit the first-in-the-nation primary state this year. Senator Elizabeth Warren, who represents neighboring Massachusetts, has already visited twice this month. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg also visited the state this week. He has reportedly been building up a political operation to take on President Trump. Democratic strategist Jim Demers has been working on presidential campaigns in New Hampshire for decades. He's been serving as unpaid state advisor to New Jersey Senator Cory Booker as he considers a run. Jim, welcome. Thanks for being with us. You are advising.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
So you're advising Senator Booker in New Hampshire. So how close is he to making a decision about 2020?
I don't think we're far away, but I don't know the exact date. But there's nothing that makes me think he won't be running. So I think it's within days or weeks before he'll be an official candidate.
Now, you have a talent for picking them. You were an Obama supporter before he entered the 2008 race. You're now supporting Cory Booker before he has entered the race. How did you pick him out as your preferred candidate?
Yeah, the last 3 presidential candidates, I've sort of made my personal decision before they even made their decision. And for Cory Booker, there were 2 really big factors that drew me to him. First, I do believe that the American people are looking for fresh blood. They want new leadership, and Cory Booker is one of those people who is the next generation of leadership for our country. But also, I have found that people all across the state have been really hoping that the next nominee and next president will be someone who can reunify America. That, this country is just too divided. And as a result, Congress is so divided, it feels like nothing big ever happens. And the kind of change that people are looking for is exactly what Cory Booker has built his career on. A person who has really talked about unity, unifying America, bringing people together. And I really believe that's where we are today, that people want government to function, and they don't want this to be a divided states of America. They want us to be the United States of America.
Now, Jim, in the past 3 election cycles, though, no Democratic member of Congress has raised more money from Wall Street than Cory Booker. That used to be a good thing, but is that now a liability in a field that includes anti-bank candidates like Elizabeth Warren, and in this climate where a lot of candidates make a point of not taking corporate money?
Yeah, I mean, Cory Booker has already said that he won't be taking any corporate PAC contributions. He's ceased doing that, I think, almost 2 years ago. Clearly, people want candidates who are not emboldened to corporate America. I think Cory Booker is one of those people who is taking the position to do just that. But I also think that people are looking for candidates who can put together the kind of campaigns, and that includes the resources, to be able to compete against Donald Trump. The one thing I have found in this state, and I think it's happening all across America, is that people are saying, I want to wait, I want to really look at all of these candidates, and who knows, there could be 25 of them by June, but they want to make sure they get this right. That I've never seen Democrats and independents so motivated to want to change the person in the White House. And I can tell you that as someone who, made a decision to support Cory Booker very early, if I made a decision that isn't ultimately what the Democratic Party decides on, I'll be the first person there to embrace the nominee of our party, because I think what we're seeing all across the country is people want to change who's in Washington. The crowds are turning out to be very big to hear these candidates because people are taking this very seriously. They want to remove Donald Trump as president. And
we certainly have a broad pool of qualified candidates. I want to ask you about Bernie Sanders. In 2016, he won the New Hampshire Democratic primary with 60% of the vote. If he were to run next year, what do you think are the chances he wins again? I think the chances are probably pretty good that he runs again. As
I look at the New Hampshire primary itself, history shows that the neighbor of New Hampshire wins here. So this could be an election where New Hampshire has two neighbors running, one Bernie Sanders from Vermont and the other Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. I mean, if you look at every single nomination that's taken place here in the state of New Hampshire, the neighbor has won. So I would think Bernie Sanders, just like Elizabeth Warren, has to be looking at this thinking, this is my time to make a run for it. But the question really will come down to, is there an avenue that the two of them open up so that somebody else kind of comes in as the new Democrat, the new face? And that, I think, is a real possibility. But if I had to bet today, I'd say that Bernie Sanders will get into the race.
All right. So before we let you go, when should we expect to see Senator Booker in New Hampshire next?
Well, I hope he's here in February. I'm not able to share any definitive date when he's going to make his announcement, but my sense is from the previous two visits that he's had here that New Hampshire is one of those ideal states for his kind of campaigning. He loves that personal contact with voters. That's what the New Hampshire primary is all about. I've often said that this primary is the biggest job interview that anyone can go through because you have to meet with the voters face to face. That's exactly the kind of candidate that Cory Booker is and will be. So my guess is it's just a matter of weeks away.
Quick question, though. Do you think that California early voting is going to steal any of New Hampshire's thunder?
I think it does change the whole presidential primary campaign. You know, historically, it has been Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina up front. California and Texas were later. Now they've moved up front. My sense is that while it won't take away from the need for candidates to sit down and have those face-to-face conversations in New Hampshire, what it's going to do is probably, like in June, we'll have 25 candidates. By Thanksgiving, we'll probably have 12. Because in order to be able to compete in this new calendar, candidates are going to have campaigns, have the financial resources to be up and running in two very big states early on, and not all of the candidates are going to be able to do that. So I think the impact it's going to have is to winnow down the field from possibly 25 to about a dozen come Thanksgiving time.
Still a dozen. Jim Demers in New Hampshire, thank you so much for your time.
Great to be with you.